not everyone's going to make everybody do premarital counseling. Okay, so some churches and some pastors don't require any. Some require one session, and that one session basically is like, you sure want to get married? Okay, good. Let's go through order of service. All right, we got that knocked out. All right, see y'all at the wedding day. Right?
Are you sure you want to get married? No. Well, just say yes.
Just say yes. Just make this easier for everybody. Yeah. Right? So.
Well, welcome back to the WhenIHeardThis podcast. My name is Nate Robinson. I'm here with Pastor Dr. Joseph Tillman, Demon Jr. How are you doing today, sir?
Well, did you say doctor?
I don't know.
What is? I mean, I know it's early in the morning.
It's early.
I know. Come on, man. You got to wake up. We got to do this thing.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the WhenIHeardThis podcast. My name is Nate Robinson. I'm here with Pastor Dr. Joseph Tillman, Demon Jr. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm well, man. I'm well. Come on, man. I'm bringing the energy today.
I'm here.
You are here.
Yep.
We're doing this early in the morning. You're not used to it.
Mm-mm.
I'm ready. This is actually my prime time. I'm ready to go.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I'm going to be annoying you probably today.
Marriage again.
Marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage. What brings us together?
To this morning.
Yeah.
Read the ad again.
All right. Before we get started today with our questions, we want to shout out our sponsor, the Discipleship Group. The Discipleship Group is a systematic training for Christians who want to go deeper and grow stronger in their relationship with God. In these courses, Dr. Jay Zen brings you over 4 decades of study, pastoring, and teaching to equip the saints to make disciples. The Discipleship Group is a series of 6 books, each book consisting of 26 weeks. Therefore, it's 3 years of study. Each week has articles written by the author to read, a chapter from a supplemental book like The Passion for God or More Than a Carpenter, The Master Plan of Evangelism, and there's scripture readings each week from the Old Testament, New Testament, and the Psalms. I've used the Discipleship Group resources for over a decade. I've used them in groups of 2 to 3 people. I've used them in small groups up to 12 people. And I can tell you, as a pastor, as someone who spends a lot of time making disciples and meeting with others, that the Discipleship Group resources are the best that I have found for growing in our faith and for encouraging us to go and make disciples ourselves. Go to discipleshipgroup.com, check out their resources, find out information about Dr. J, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Patreon.
Yeah, go there to Patreon.
I'm getting right to it today.
I love it. Yeah, so go to Patreon. We'd love to have you support us. So if you listen to the episodes, you enjoy the episodes, we would greatly appreciate the support.
Website.
Go to the website, check out the website, find out more about us. WhenIHeardThisPodcast.com. Is that right?
We're changing the way the merch, the stuff is done.
Doing the change on the merch.
We switched it to a different thing because everyone kept ordering stuff. And the logo would be placed not in the right spot. So we placed them, and hopefully they're good now. This other thing.
Yeah, so go to the website and...
But there's not as much stuff to buy.
That's okay. Go check out the new merch.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get correct merch. Lord willing.
Hopefully.
Lord willing.
We got to buy one of everything, maybe.
See what happens.
We bought a shirt.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll see if that works.
Sounds good.
Anyway.
Yeah. That works.
It's perfect now.
Yeah, great.
Social media.
Yeah, go to social media. You can like, subscribe, share, comment, follow. Man, by the way, Dr. J, who is one of our sponsors, he was sharing some of our reels, or sharing a reel.
He's been our only sponsor.
Yeah, our only sponsor. But but he shared a reel.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So yeah,
yep.
Yeah, so go follow Dr. J's example.
Joseph Bone and his wife reel.
That
one.
That one. The Genesis 2 verse 24 reel. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So.
All right, here we go. More marriage.
All right.
Was that? That was that. Early in the morning. Okay, it's coming. Here we go.
We're just waiting for it, buddy.
What are we doing? All right, here we go. This is the question.
I feel like this is a game show at this point. All right.
Okay, Christians love to get married.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Like, what is there like a checklist I have to do before I get married, like a Christian checklist.
Okay, like a Christian checklist.
Like,
all right.
like forgive myself of all my sins, or
Okay.
like pray the re-purity, be a virgin again prayer.
Okay, so
Or
so,
any
so
of that
you're
stuff.
talking about like the spiritual things I need to do to get ready,
Yeah.
or like
Or,
practical things, legal things. What are we talking about here?
all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Christians specifically.
Okay. For Christians.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to assume you know how to do all the legal stuff and right?
Oh yeah, because
So-
I remember doing all that. And
Yeah.
it was
It was great, right?
fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
I
All right.
love every time me and the government have to shake hands after a transaction.
Give them a little money.
It's my favorite thing.
Give them a little money.
Yeah.
Thanks for the marriage license. Right. Okay.
This feels like I'm prostituting myself paying this.
right. Yeah, but
Little bit.
then you get the tax breaks for being married. That's always great.
That's true.
So yeah,
You just give tax breaks to everybody.
yeah. Can just do that.
I mean,
well,
That
whatever.
seems easier, right? Instead of making me do weird shit first. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, there we go. All right. So, no, but
Anyway,
all right,
real
so, yeah,
question.
All right, the real question. All right, for the in terms of like the spiritual things for a Christian, right? So, all right, let's say you're already obviously you've dated, you're engaged, and you're about to get married, right? Is that what we're talking about? Like you're at the precipice of
Yeah.
all right, and so
And then you get there and they won't let you because
well, I mean, no, there's not. Let's
because
not
you
like
haven't
you haven't said this prayer or
Yeah.
gone to confession lately or none of those things. No, as a and again, now we mentioned this. I'm not going to go into this, but we mentioned this last week when we were talking about the Catholics that to be married within the Catholic Church,
right.
there are certain requirements that they do have for two individuals getting married in the Catholic Church, especially if one is coming from outside the Catholic Church into the Catholic Church.
Right.
Okay. So there is that. But for us Protestants over here,
But that's just to get married in the Catholic Church. You could go wherever you want and get married and then
100%.
Okay, yeah.
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I've even officiated those weddings.
Okay.
Yeah, like where you've got one from the Catholic Church, one who's not in the Catholic Church. They know that for the Catholic Church, it's going to take another year or whatever it may be to go through the processes, and so they want to go ahead and get married. So let's go ahead and get married. I officiate the wedding. They get married, but in the eyes of the Catholic Church, they still have to go through all these other steps before they're recognized as a married couple within the Catholic Church.
Okay.
So, all right. So that aside, for us Protestants over here, and there's not like a pray a certain prayer or do this kind of things. Like I'm going to assume that the individual that you are marrying is a Christian as well, and that shares, so the things that I kind of think about are the things that need to happen like while you're dating to discern if this is the person that you need to marry.
Okay.
Okay. But no, but let's say you're already engaged, that kind of thing. There's not like a spiritual checklist to go get married.
Okay, so what are those dating things then?
Okay. Yeah. So if there's a couple that are dating and they're trying to discern, right? Like, is this the person I want to marry? That kind of thing. Then there are things that I want them to look for in the kind of quote unquote spiritual way of, all right, is the individual a Christian? But not just are they a Christian? Do we hold shared theological beliefs? And and it doesn't have to be exact or those kind of things, but do we share enough in common? But even probably even more than the theological beliefs, the values. What do we hold on a value wise as we're dating? And so, in other words, what are the things that we're looking for value wise, like in marriage, as a family, church, all those kind of things? I'm hoping individuals take the time to look and have those discussions. Are we equally yoked here? Not just in the sense of are we both Christians, but do we value and desire the same things for marriage, for family, and for what a church would look like for us?
Okay.
And so those are the things that and I do think if you've got an individual that is like a Pentecostal tongue talking believer and they're married and they're dating someone who is, let's say, a Southern Baptist or Reformed, gifts are not for today individual, you may really like each other, those kind of things, but I think there's theological arguments or disagreements, if they're held really strongly by, the individual parties, could become a problem later on.
Okay.
And so those are kind of things but that's
because she won't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because I'm just thought we were talking in tongues,
right.
man. And but I think that's where just those kind of conversations need to happen. And so along the theological lines and along, especially the values, the expectations, things we want out of family, out of marriage, out of church.
Okay. Christians like to talk about like are you in the mindset for marriage?
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you in a marriage mindset?
Yeah.
Before you get married.
Right.
What does that mean?
Okay.
And this is one of those phrases that only Christians say that sound really dumb.
No, I don't disagree with you. Sorry, I'm pulling up something. And so,
like premarital sex.
Okay.
Nobody says that but Christians.
Right.
And
well,
it just sounds odd.
Okay. Because everybody else is just looking at it as just sex.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So the mindsets. All right. And so I use this assessment for that I give couples.
There's a test.
There's a test, and so you actually did this assessment.
I did.
Yeah, you did. And so there's assessments that we do that I have individuals do when I'm doing premarital counseling. Okay. With couples.
I don't remember doing a test.
Yeah, and so, excuse me. And so one of the things that are I could print you out you want the results?
No.
I got it. But anyways,
is it like job interview or like satisfaction survey questions?
No.
Like how happy have you been with your dating experience?
Right.
Very satisfied, somewhat satisfied.
Not satisfied at all.
Not satisfied. Yeah.
No, it's not like that at all. Okay, so. All right, so they talk about like marriage mindsets.
My girlfriend is hot. Strongly disagree.
Right.
What is this?
Not like that at all. Okay. All right.
I plan on cheating. Strongly agree. Strongly disagree.
Do you want to get to the mindsets or not? What are we doing here?
All right. Sorry.
You're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I can sense it. All right.
Sorry.
All right. No, you're not. All right. So, marriage mindsets. All right. So they talk about like a resolute mindset, where you're viewing marriage with a sense of like, oh, this is forever. Okay.
Okay.
Like, so we're going into it and we are thinking to ourselves that this is a lifelong commitment we're making with each other.
Do people not think that?
There are some that go into it. Yeah, that's another mindset here, and we're going to get to it in a little bit. There are some that don't go into it with that mindset.
Okay.
And so there's like this resolute mindset of, okay, this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, right? That's what you're going in there. We realize marriage is going to have its own challenges and difficulties, but we are excited about being married. We're excited about the journey that we're going to go on together. And so, like, we're doing this together. Divorce is not an option. Here we go. Okay. That's like that resolute mindset. And obviously, that's what I would like couples to have. Like, I want couples to have that kind of mindset.
Okay.
And then there's like the rational mindset of like, okay, it's pragmatic. It's practical that, we get married because of these financial reasons, because of these practical reasons. And that to me is, I mean, I understand it going in, and I'm fully okay with there being a rational element to it. I just want that to be the only reason we're going to get married.
Okay.
And there are individuals that do that. Like, this is the rational thing to do, right? And then, of course, you've just got the individuals that, like, kind of have that like romantic mindset of like, oh, we're excited about this. We love the other person. This is destiny. This is right. And it's all of those, like it's going to be great, right? Like overly romanticized view of marriage,
right?
Like it's going to take away all my problems. Like I'm going to always be happy now, all that kind of stuff. And that's just not realistic, right? I mean, yes, I would hope your happiness increases, but it's not going to be like you're always happy. And that individual cannot be the source of your happiness.
Happy people are weird anyway.
I think I'm a pretty happy person. Call me weird. So, yeah. But so that's like the romantic kind of mindset, like where we've just romanticized it. And then you've got individuals that really are struggling, kind of what you mentioned a little bit ago. I'll call it like a restless, like I'm not sure commitments are forever. And I've had this conversation with people, and they talk like, well, if this doesn't work out, we can always just get divorced. And so, or if this doesn't work out, we at least need to not have kids for a while, for 5 years or whatever, to make sure this is the right thing. And if it doesn't work out, we'll make sure we get divorced and separate before the kids are involved.
And both of them are saying that?
Usually this is one or the other.
Okay.
Rarely this is both. And usually it comes as a surprise to the other one.
Oh.
And so usually we're in, so I'm doing premarital counseling. We're going through these kind of different things. And one person will go, well, yeah, like, we also need to like have an opt out. And that's like, when you're going into that with that mindset, that's what always concerns me. I mean, that would scare the bejeebies out of me if I was the other person.
Right.
Because they're already like looking for, because the problem is like, at what threshold did they go, no, this is not what I signed up for, and so there are those that go into it with that.
Get on the scale.
Right. And so,
that's it. You're done.
Well, yeah. And I think that, and to me, I think that kind of, that concern of, buying in for the long term, usually it stems from something. Usually it stems from their own broken, they've like their own broken family. Like usually their parents have been divorced or those kind of things. And so it usually stems from that. Although you will see some individuals, they're getting married, their parents were divorced, and they have taken the reluctant mindset of, we're not going to repeat that. So it can kind of go both ways. And so anyways, yeah, so you do have these different kind of mindsets, and obviously we're wanting that resolute mindset of, no, hey, this is forever. We're, divorce is not an option. And we understand that there can be crazy unforeseen circumstances where all of a sudden, an individual becomes abusive or those kind of things. So I'm not trying to like lock in someone as if, oh man, if you ever get out, it's a sin. But going in like outside of like that kind of crazy, something crazy changing and happening. No, I'm with this person,
Okay.
Because obviously if abuse became present, I'm not asking someone to stay in an abusive relationship. Right.
Okay.
And so, because there's no reason for someone to be, physically abused. Like that's never okay. So,
all right.
Yeah. So those are the mindsets.
That's all the things that the questions are. For your question list. Yeah.
Oh no. There's like I don't know how many, like it's 150 questions or something.
And I took that.
Yeah.
I feel like I cheated.
You select C on every answer.
C.
But
strongly somewhat agree. Or just put the what's the indifferent one?
Right, the indifferent. I'm just indifferent to everything. Yeah. No, so this is just like one small section.
Is this
of the
forever?
assessment. Maybe.
Yeah.
This is like one small part of the assessment.
Okay.
Yeah. There's all.
What's the rest of it?
Oh, so it's like it produces like a 15-page document for me once you and the other person are done with it. And so it goes through everything from personalities to communication styles to how we deal with conflict to how other individuals may see you in conflict to how you see yourself in conflict and in communication to expectations from things like daily chores to who's handling the finances to, who's paying the bills, all that kind of stuff, right? And so, there's how do we view spirituality? How do we view church? How do we view marriage? There's a lot of things built in there. What's our views on sex? What's our views on love?
Is this common in Christendom to do stuff like that before you get married?
I don't know if it's common.
Okay.
I doubt all right, so my wife and I, when we went through premarital counseling, we didn't go through this kind of assessment thing, but we went through 10 sessions. Okay. With the pastor, I remember and his doing wife. Those. You remember? You're like, oh God, when will the sessions ever end?
All right. So next question.
Yeah.
Let's just do this question.
Okay.
So premarital counseling. What's up with that? Why church make people do that?
Right.
And what's the point?
Okay. Well, not everyone's going to make everybody do premarital counseling. Okay. So some churches and some pastors don't require any. Some require one session, and that one session basically is like, you sure want to get married? Okay, good. Let's go through order of service. All right, we got that knocked out. All right, see y'all at the wedding day. Right?
Are you sure you want to get married? No. Well, just say yes.
Just say yes. Let's make this easier for everybody. Yeah. Right? So, and there's like some that like do that. When I was in theology school, they trained us to do 3 sessions. And so in our pastoral care class. And so that was the way we were supposed to handle it, was with 3 sessions before we would, agree to officiate a wedding. But my wife and I, when we went through premarital counseling, I mentioned a second ago, we went through 10 sessions. And so we've built upon that in the sense of we still do 10 sessions. We're actually starting up a session or a premarital counseling sessions with a couple today, actually. And
cool.
So we'll go through the first session. And so that's just kind of a normal thing that we have created is this rhythm of, we have 10 sessions. We meet with couples. And so we do cover all those kind of things, like, your marriage mindset, like your personalities and what that means for you coming in and how does that gel with the personality of the other. What are your expectations of marriage?
And doing this with you is required for you to marry them, people?
For me, that's what has become required. Yeah.
Okay.
And so to go through all of the courses, and now I say required. Let me back that up a bit. I don't know if I want to say completely required. I've officiated weddings where we've not done full 10 sessions, but I'm definitely going to do premarital counseling. Like that's not an option.
Okay.
And so if you're going to get, if my wife and I are having a part in the wedding and we're officiating it, you need to have gone through premarital counseling with us or with somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah. So doesn't even have to be with us. It could be with somebody else. And that's fine. I've officiated weddings that way too.
Do every pastor that does weddings require this?
No. And that's what I'm saying. Some don't require.
Okay.
Some require 1 session. Some require 3 sessions. Some require none. Like it really just depends on the pastor.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like hiring a DJ.
You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah. And so, But I think for me, the way I guess we view it is that if you're going to get married, what's 10 sessions in a couple of books, right? Like in other words, like what's the
couple of books?
Yeah.
Did I read books too?
We did 5 love languages. And
did I get married? I don't remember any of this. Was I drunk?
Maybe.
I could have been drunk 10 times. That just doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, we did. So we did. Yeah. So. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at what we did with y'all. I'd have to go pull that up.
I wake up every morning. I'm like, oh. Whoa. Who are you? Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Morning.
Nate. Oh, yeah. So I think we did, at that point, 5 love languages and, man, I can't even remember the other book. Well,
I feel like you're just adding numbers to all this. Like
no.
Next year it's going to be 12 sessions.
And
somehow there's more love languages.
It's been a constant 10. Or maybe we just had y'all read the Symbis book, actually.
What's that?
Yeah, that's the assessment you took. That's what it was. So y'all read through the Symbis book, I think. And so
5 love languages. I wouldn't have read that.
Yeah.
I would have told you I read it, but not read it.
Well, thanks for being honest on the other side, I guess. So, well, y'all are married and doing great. So
I'm a man.
Something works.
It's the physical one.
Yeah, right.
Duh.
Right. Physical touch is always my love language, says every male ever.
I don't care about any of the other ones. Right. I don't even know what they are.
You probably should know your wife's love language at least.
To
be able to speak that to her. Right.
Words of affirmation, right? That's one?
Yep. Good.
You're really hot and I want to have sex with you. That's your words of affirmation.
Wow.
Gift giving?
Yep.
Here's my gift. I would like to have sex with you. See, I remember him.
No. I'm so bothered right now. So bothered. Well, I guess at least you remember them. I don't.
What are the other two?
Acts of service.
Right. Acts of service.
And quality time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checks all the boxes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Great.
Yep. I remember.
Oh.
Maybe I read the book.
Maybe you did. Oh God. So.
Anywho.
Yeah. So
premarital counseling is important.
Yeah, it is. I think it's actually really important. So, because we joke about the 5 love languages and stuff, but to this day, those are game changers, lifesavers for my wife and I. I know that her love language is acts of service, and so for me to speak love to her well means I got to do things like clean the dishes. I got to clean the sink or whatever it is, right? I got to do those types of things to effectively speak love. My love language is words of affirmation. So my wife knows that she's, that's how I'm going to receive love. So I do think that those kind of things are important. And so I think all the things that we cover in 10 sessions, especially as we get into the communication and conflict resolution type stuff, all of those things are like tools in our toolbox to be able to use for a healthy or a healthier marriage going forward.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You did a really good job answering that question.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate your words of affirmation. I feel better about myself. I feel loved.
Okay, so when you go from dating to then being married,
right?
What happened?
Okay.
How is us together any different from before?
Okay.
So what did some supernatural morphing of spirits happen in a lab in heaven or something?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happened when you
Okay.
And when does it happen?
Okay. Yeah. What is it and when?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
at what point in the ceremony could the couple leave and go have sex and you would be okay with it?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. After the vows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we could just leave then.
Yeah.
And then you would be fine.
Right.
All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when Jesus would be okay with it. After the vows.
For me, yes.
So after both people have said I do.
Yep.
Then
because now you've made your commitment to each other.
Okay.
Right. And I think that's the difference, right? Because now I'm moving from dating, which is like that option, like I can leave. That should be like, I can date, I can break up with you, right?
Yeah.
It's not a permanence where marriage should be. I know we're talking about the ideal of it, but marriage should be a permanence, right? The whole, so like when we do our vows, right?
Mm-hmm.
In sickness and in health, right? For rich or for poor, all those things. Like we're making these commitments to say we are with you regardless of the seasons of life that are ahead of us, right? Regardless of what may come, we're with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, to me, that's like a massive difference is between dating and marriage is the permanence of it. But I think that also when in that moment when vows happen, we're saying I do to these things that, or like you wrote your own vows, right? And so,
oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, hey, and so and my wife and I wrote our own vows, okay. And I think that so whether you're reciting the vows or you're repeating the vows, reading the vows, whatever it is, when you've made that vow, that commitment to each other, and because usually at that point, right, the I do's, and then the pastor or the officiant will say, now that these two have, said their vows, I pronounce them, husband and wife.
Okay.
Right? And then there can usually be the last kind of parts of the ceremony. You see like the wedding rings, the symbol of the wedding ring and all that kind of stuff, and the blessing of the marriage, all that stuff. But you've made your commitment. You said, and I really believe in those moments that there's an actual grace that is present in there. And this is kind of getting back to what we were talking about with sacraments. Okay. And how in the Catholic Church, they really do believe that in matrimony, in that moment, that there is a grace that is infused, imparted, however you want to phrase that is present, that is there. And so that's where I agree with that. Like, I think there is a grace that is present as couples say that I do, because now we're entering into a covenant, not just with one another, but we're entering into a marriage covenant between us and the Lord. And I think so anytime we enter into a covenant, there is grace present. Okay. And so I'd really believe that that's in that moment, that's a huge, massive difference between the dating and the marriage. And now we have grace.
Yeah, but where is that?
Like physically, you mean, or
like where, like okay. So if I got done getting married and then I was like, well, this is permanent now, she'd be like, it wasn't permanent before. You know what I mean? Okay. You know what I'm saying? So like, what's the?
But the reality is, it wasn't permanent before.
Okay.
I mean, just calling it for what it is, right? Like until we've made our vows with each other, until we've entered into matrimony with one another, like, it's not permanent. Like, we're dating and we're engaged, but at any point in that time, an individual can say, I break up, we're
the
leaving,
difference is the fact
and there's no sin there.
The difference is the fact that I said it's permanent, so therefore,
it's
something happens in the heavens.
It's the sense that it's not just saying that it's permanent, but it's the idea of that we are making a permanent commitment. So I guess in that sense, yes. Okay. And then at that point, in that moment where we're becoming, it's like the beginning of that one flesh movement where I am leaving father and mother and I am becoming one with my spouse. Mm-hmm. Like, that's that moment where grace is present and grace is there.
Christians like to say, and maybe some other people, that that the best place to raise a child is in marriage. I feel like you said this in one of the other episodes.
Sure.
But anyway, why?
Why is it the best place to raise children? Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I could give you all the spiritual reasons, but sure. Okay. Well, all right. It's the best place. And let me give you some stats, and then we'll talk about the actual spiritual part of it. Okay. And so
I like stats.
You like stats? Okay. And so there's so many of them. I don't hardly even know where to start. So children who do not live with both biological parents are roughly twice as likely to be poor, to have birth outside of marriage, to have behavioral and psychological problems, and to not graduate high school.
Okay.
Another study has found that children in single-parent homes are more likely to experience health problems, such as accidents, injuries, and poisonings. It's kind of an interesting thing.
What?
Yeah, and actually a large part of that is due to this. It's the fact that you have a single parent trying to.
Oh.
So you lose. It's like you're halving your supervision ability.
Okay.
And so
it's too hard because you're a single parent, so you just poison your child.
No, it's because they can get into stuff, and you don't have enough supervision around it. And then
he got into it. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there. I have no idea. I'll be honest. Our youngest was like a machine, being able to unlock, the childproof safety things,
the poison.
Where you keep all the chemical, you keep your cleaning supplies or that kind of stuff. And he would just sit there. He was so little, but he would sit there and find a way to move that thing. And then after the second time, we were like, okay, dude, you're done. Probably should have done it after the first time. But yeah, exactly. So other research found that children living with single mothers were 5 times as likely to be poor. And poverty, actually, just hitting on that one specifically, the percentage, and this is, you're going to hear race in this. So it's both. Percentage of white children living in poverty is 31% in families with only a mother, and it's only 5% in families with a married couple. Okay. And percentages for black children, mother only, it's 45%. Married couple, it's only 12%.
Okay.
And so it's not just even and there's we've talked about the breakdown, I say that there's been a lot of discussion of the breakdown of the nuclear family within the black community, but it's not just there though. It's not just an economic problem or a racial problem, excuse me. It is a marriage problem.
Okay.
And so when we talk about poverty and those kind of things, it always needs to go back to the breakdown of the nuclear family, not just to their own societal experiences. And I will say this too. If you're a child of a widowed parent, you actually do better than children in families with divorced or cohabitating parents. So in other words, let's say if I was to die, my wife's raising our children alone, statistically, they would still be better off than coming from like a divorced home or even 2 individuals cohabitating together.
Okay.
And so children of divorce are 2.5 times as likely to have serious social, emotional, or psychological problems as children from families intact. Children cohabitating families are at a higher risk of poor outcomes in most, or I won't say most, but in a lot of economic and emotional categories. And so, again, marriage is the issue there. And so I think as you keep going down, you can continue to see over and over again that, children living outside of a nuclear home is just not as healthy. Children living with a mother's boyfriend are about 11 times more likely to be sexually, physically, or emotionally abused than children living with their married biological parents. Children separated from one or both of their biological parents are 1.5 times as likely to experience financial difficulty, 6 times as likely to have witnessed neighborhood violence, 15 times as likely to have witnessed caregiver or parent violence, 11 times as likely to have lived with a caregiver or parent with a drug or alcohol problem, and 17 times as likely to have had a caregiver or parent in jail. And so, and actually, the jail part, boys are half as likely to end up in prison before the age of 30 if they're being raised by their biological parents.
Okay.
And so, and prison,
not jail.
Prison. Okay. And girls are half as likely to be as depressed. And so so in other words, there's a lot of statistical numbers that we can look at and say these are major issues for children that are not being raised by two parents in the home.
So why does all that make sense to you, Christian man?
Because I really believe God designed, and again, we're talking about ideal, right?
Okay.
So I think God designed the family to be the safe space for children to be raised in so children thrive actually on a few things. Children thrive on stability, okay? And stability, when you've got parents that are in a healthy marriage, they're going to be loving their children. There's not going to be the emotional instability that you find in single household. And again, the single household mom, or single household dad, either one, there's the emotional part that's because of the stress that's created from trying to be a parent who's working, who's raising children, all that kinds of by themselves. For those of us that have, we've got 3 kids.
It's just practically, it's harder.
Practically, it's harder. And so
even if nothing else is wrong.
Correct.
Okay.
And so, but you throw on top of that the stress created from whether it's the financial stress or relational stress, things going through a divorce or those kind of things. It impacts children. And so I think God's design was for the home to be a safe place where children know they're loved, they know they're cared, because let's face it, you go to school, there's no guarantee you're not going to get bullied, that you're not going to get peer pressure to do things, right? All that exists outside of the home. But if you've got the stability in the home where you know you're loved, you know you're cared for, parents are healthily just invested in you, and I don't mean just resource-wise, I just mean time-wise. They're willing to share in the interest that you have, all those kind of things. It creates this stable environment for children, and children need stability. Children also thrive not just on stability but on discipline. They actually need discipline. And I think what happens is oftentimes with a single parent, it's exhausting disciplining all the time. We've had this conversation with single parents. It's hard for them when they have to be like the loving parent, the disciplining parent, and I'm not saying you divide up those roles when they're married, but unfortunately what can happen is for the single parent, they can fall into the trap, especially as a child hits certain stages of life where they're just kind of having to discipline all the time. And it's like they feel like that's like their only role. And they don't want to just be disciplining all the time. They want to also be able to love and care and support and those kind of things. And I think it's hard to balance all of that with just the one parent.
Okay.
And so I think that, so discipline is actually really important. And in fact, if we look at Hebrews real quick, and so it says, what son is there that a father does not discipline? This is Hebrews 12, verse 7. What son is, I'll back up and I'll read Proverbs. My son, do not take the Lord's discipline lightly, or lose heart when you are reproved by him. For the Lord disciplines the one he loves, and disciplines every son he receives. For what son is there that a father does not discipline? But if you are without discipline, which all receive, or they should, but if you're without discipline, then you are illegitimate children and not sons.
Did Jesus get disciplined from his dad?
Did Jesus get disciplined from his dad? Remember when Jesus went off when he was 12 years old, wasn't part of the group, and he had been left at the temple?
Oh, I mean his real dad.
Are you meaning God the Father? Yeah. Did he get disciplined?
Jesus was in a broken home.
What are you talking about?
He wasn't with his real dad.
Oh, Nate, you're killing me right now. You're just
right?
You're killing me. You're absolutely killing me.
I think he did pretty good given the circumstances, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But okay, this actually, wow, this just opens up all kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right. What's so unique, I think it's actually a good point. Well, what about Jesus?
Okay.
Okay. I think that's a valid point. Let's go there. And so, all right. So obviously Jesus is being raised by his mother, right?
His biological mother.
Right.
Uh-huh.
and then Joseph.
And then some guy.
And then Joseph. But here's the thing. Joseph and Mary were in a healthy marriage.
Okay.
Right? So it was a stable environment. Okay.
Okay.
And I know we can go off into God the Father being present and God the Father being there, other kind of things. But Joseph was charged with raising Jesus. Okay. And
Jesus did end up in jail.
Oh, God. Yes.
And
Nate.
he received the death penalty.
Yes, Nate. Yes, he did.
So,
oh, Lord.
Add that to the
Add
stats.
that to the stats. Yeah. Put that in your pipe and smoke
Yeah.
it. That's what you just told me to do. All right. Oh, Lord. Obviously, we know Jesus is a completely different category. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can we go back?
Yeah.
To Hebrews 12. Thank you. All right. And so it says, furthermore, chapter 12, verse 9 of Hebrews, furthermore, we had human fathers discipline us and we respected them. Shouldn't we submit even more to the Father of spirits and live? For they disciplined us for a short time based on what seemed good to them, but he does it for our benefit so that we may share his holiness. No discipline seems enjoyable at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. And I think this is kind of the point is like when we have those stable environments and there's discipline present, it actually, no one likes to be disciplined at the time. None of my kids like to be spanked at the time, right? Like, so there's the discipline that's present and there is not enjoyable for the moment. I get it. But for the long-term stability of the child, it actually is for their good. So children thrive on stability and children thrive on discipline. And children thrive in environments where they know they are loved, okay? And where that's expressed.
Okay.
And so both verbally and through action. And so I think that's why when God designed, the family, it was for these things. And therefore, because of these things, you don't see the fallout from the stats like we just read.
Okay.
We're in those environments. And obviously as a Christian, I'm going to add to that not only do we provide this, the safe and environment, stable environment, the disciplined environment, the loving environment, but we also are providing an environment that is pointing them to the Lord, right?
Okay.
Like that we are going to point, that my children can look at me and can look at their mother and say those are examples of individuals that love the Lord and they're setting an example for us. And then one of the things we do is that when we fail, when we don't live up to a standard, when we don't act like Christ, then we ask for forgiveness. And so they learn early that asking for forgiveness is part of the norm, right? Like that we're not perfect. And that's even greater evidence or greater pointing toward the one who is perfect. Like I realize that as stable, disciplined, and loving environments we try to create, we're going to fail. We're going to disappoint. We're going to, not meet expectations and those kind of things. Like, I get that. And so we ask forgiveness when we don't hit those points. And we point to the one who is perfect, who is our Father, who is always perfect. And so I think that it gives the kids an opportunity to see God being, present here in the midst of the family as well. And so we talk about the Lord, we talk about Jesus, we talk about the Holy Spirit, we talk about the Word. All of these are normal conversation points in our home. And so hopefully those are, creating an environment, again, where our children are being taught and instructed in the ways of the Lord. That's not only good for them in their knowing and their relationship with Jesus, but hopefully it will be good in both their loving of God and their loving of others, right? So that they actually will be individuals that care more for our society, and they themselves will be in marriages that are healthy, that produce these same type of environments.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So 2 parents.
2 parents.
Any kind of 2 parents will do.
A mom and a dad. A mom and a dad. Yeah.
I almost had you.
Nope. No. Yeah. Mom and a dad.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. there are individuals that, because you brought up the whole Jesus thing, being raised by somebody who's not really his biological father.
Yep.
There's plenty of other stats as well, and I'm sorry I don't have them in front of me, that shows what happens when a stable marriage environment is created for a child, where they end up having whether it's a stepfather or a stepmother come in the picture, and now that they have that individuals come in, that there is especially given how, the younger the better, obviously, in most of these cases.
Okay.
But when there's a stable, healthy marriage environment there, it can create some of those same patterns and structures of the stability, the discipline, and the love, right? Now, but all of these things are different depending on what's happening with the divorced, parent. Because those environments could be completely unstable, not disciplined, not loving, and yet the child is kind of, I've seen it both ways. I've seen it where the child is in this environment that's very safe and secure, steady, disciplined, with a step parent, doesn't have much involvement with the other parent, that's very unstable. And because they're here, they're okay. It's stable, it's good. And actually all the indications of things we talked about begin to be produced in their own lives. Okay. But then you've got the other side where that may come in, a healthy marriage is created, but you have a very unstable, undisciplined, unloving environment over here, and the child is going back and forth between the two, and that child, unfortunately, is part of the stats we talk about with broken homes, where it really impacts the psychological, emotional health of that child, and so and that's why we see some of the indications that we see. Yeah, of why broken homes are obviously not as beneficial on a numerous amount of key stats as the nuclear family that's there, that is very stable, and you're being raised by both a mom and dad who care for each other and care for the kids. So,
okay,
yeah.
So you're not going to talk about the other thing I brought up.
Oh. With the two, you talk with the other? I can. You want me to?
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's marriage.
It's marriage, not.
It is on paper according to the government.
It is on paper according to the government. It is not in the eyes of the Lord.
Okay.
And so yes, whether it's two men or two women, and they're raising children, I'm just, that's not as, and it's not as stable, it's not as disciplined, it's not as secure of a space for those children.
Okay.
And here's why. It's not because, and this is the thing, it's not even because the two parents don't love the children. They can love the children well. I'm not denying that. Okay. And I'm not saying they're not even trying to create a safe space or a disciplined space, but there are reasons that fathers typically end up doing the disciplining, okay, in a marriage. All right,
scarier and bigger.
It's scarier and bigger. But I think it's also part of the role that we have. And this kind of gets back to what we were talking about a couple episodes ago about, are there different roles in marriage? And this is part, and I'm not saying that the moms don't discipline either. Obviously, my wife has disciplined our children plenty of times as well. But the discipline part from a father to a child is to me so unbelievably important. And I think that's why you find throughout Scripture, when it speaks of a child being disciplined, it's connected to the father.
Okay.
Disciplining the child.
Oh, so you just read that verse about
right. I read the verse here, and then same thing whether we're looking in Ephesians 6 or whether we're looking in Colossians 4. It says in Ephesians 6, honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you, that you may have a long life in the land. Fathers, don't stir up anger in your children, but bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord. So it's clearly speaking to fathers about how they are to discipline their children. And I'm sorry, I said Colossians 4. It's actually at the very end of Colossians 3. And so Same thing. It says, verse 20 of Colossians 3, children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Fathers, do not exasperate your children so that they won't become discouraged. And so again, it's connecting the idea of disciplining with the father.
Okay.
And we see this in the Proverbs as well. And again, I just think there's that point where the father is able to discipline in a way, and it just comes across, it connects with children in a way that it doesn't with the mom. And this is one of the roles that fathers, especially when they're not there, they're advocating that, And so when you have a two-parent home when it's both women, you're absent of that father.
Okay.
Creating that disciplining environment. And then when you've got just the two men, now we're losing. You may have that, but now you're losing that nurturing environment.
Okay.
And so both sides create a lack of instability, and so therefore it negatively impacts. I think probably the verdict is still out in terms of what that's going to look like long term in children and being raised in these environments, and in these homes. But I do think that there's, again, for me as a Christian, it's just a no-brainer that God designed and wired men and women in different ways. And so therefore, when we're raising children, we're doing it in a complementary way together. And we lose that when it's a same-sex union that is raising children.
Marriage, more again.
Marriage. Love marriage.
That we did.
I love marriage.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Never one day since I got married did I wish it wasn't a thing that I did.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been the When I Heard This podcast. You can follow the podcast on Facebook and Instagram at When I Heard This podcast, and X and locals at When I Heard This. Ring the notification bell. Tell everyone that you know about the show, and go to the website where there's t-shirts. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Nate Robinsoff, and you can follow Joseph on Instagram at
Rev Joe T.
This has been the When I Heard This podcast, and see you guys next time.
Bye.